What's going on, everybody? Grab your latte, grab your mocha, grab whatever the hell you want to call it. Grab something from the cantina. Regardless, strap in, sit down, have a great time. This is the coffee shop. It's your boy Jobbers and Goons, and I'm talking about a subject you know I personally love, and that's Star Wars. And this is a big video for me for a couple of reasons. One, I don't personally feel like a lot of coverage on the power of Exar Kun has been done on YouTube. So I think I definitely have a big opportunity with this video to make a mark and make some noise for the Star Wars community. As well as, I'm a reformed Exar Kun hater. I actually used to not like Kun because I hated the writing of his spirit and how strong, like, ridiculously OP it was. But I'm reformed now. I went back, read his sources, read his materials. That's why it's taken a while to get this video out. But he's incredible. So I'm going to be talking about both living Exar Kun today and his feats. And I will also be talking about Spirit of Exar Kun and how strong he was. If you love Star Wars, power scaling, and content like this, smash the like button. Let's try to hit 100 likes. That would be amazing. As well as make sure to subscribe and turn the notification bell on because videos are uploaded on here almost daily, if not daily. So definitely stay tuned. But anyways, first I'm going to talk about the power levels of Exar Kun throughout time. Then I'll get into abilities and skill and whatnot. I hope you guys enjoy. And without further ado, let's begin. So right off the bat, just to kind of establish scaling and chain scaling, a term I got from my buddy Captain Forrest. Shout out to Forrest. Basically, scaling to other characters and how strong they are. He, Exar Kun, scaled above Sith Lords who could induce supernovas and break stars. He even scales above their artifacts as well. So even if you are to argue, hey, it was the artifacts with the power, Exar Kun blatantly outscales them as well. Now for chain scaling in Shadows of Revan, the same amulet that Exar Kun pretty easily overpowered was strong enough to fold both Darth Nox and the Hero of Typhon. Not only did Kun scale above the amulet, he also directly scaled above the Spirit of Freedom Nad himself, and he also destroyed him. Exar Kun scales pretty comfortably above both Naga Sadow and Freedom Nad in both power, mystical knowledge, and skill. He also absorbed all of their knowledge prior to destroying the Spirit of Nad. He clearly scaled above both, so it's important real quick for the chain scaling to establish Nad and Sadow. Like I mentioned before, both of these Sith were able to bust stars. So, Sadow was a confirmed starbuster. It was also confirmed, though, that Freedom Nad was outright stronger than Sadow himself. Nad, who easily already scaled to Star Plus after blatantly surpassing Sadow, was stated to grow much stronger after that over his 100-year rule. This is important because base Exar Kun then easily matched this raw power in the Force. In particular, I sense one great power has fallen and another has risen in its place, coming from the Tales of the Jedi, Dark Lord of the Sith, in reference to the power of Exar Kun. So, obviously, he's massively above star level at this point, just in base power outright. And we haven't even gotten into any crazy sort of progressions for him. That was just the base scaling, which is absurd. Hit the like button for your boy Exar Kun. Kun is, again, noted as massively rising in power later at his throne as he searched the galaxy telepathically. What's crazy, though, is there was a power jump right before this, in which it occurred after the destruction of Nad's spirit. So you had the first power jump was after he destroyed Nad's spirit, so well above his base at that point. Then you get into another one later in the Chronicles of the Old Republic, as he was sitting on Yavin 4, and it was stated he was more powerful. The source, or the writer of the guidebook, also stated that Exar Kun and some of his Force feats had been intentionally done to parallel both Darth Sidious and Darth Nihilus, as Force powerhouses. Basically, narratively, Kun was supposed to be demonstrated to be as top tier as it gets for a Sith Lord. Kun is stated later to get massively stronger during the war. In his third jump in power since base Kun was established as well, being above Sadow and Nad. So it's crazy he's already had 3 massive power jumps from his base, which already scaled above both Nad and Sadow. Do you see how wild his scaling is? Like, this boy is crazy. We also see later that Exar Kun and Ulic Queldroma went on a 4-year hiatus that introduced a 4th power jump in both knowledge and power for Exar Kun. Kun also receives another power amp after this, his 5th power jump, after Odan falls to him. And it's stated in Tale of the Jedi Omnibus that after it fell to him, he walked away with power far surpassing what he was before, and it made him much stronger. Exar Kun was also stated to, quote, might not have risen to power so quickly had Odan destroyed the Sith holocron when he had the chance. The source of power in question that Kun now scaled above scared Revan on a primal level and was far beyond even the power of the Star Forge, which is absolutely nuts. Exar Kun goes on to lead a raid on a planet of Ossus and faces Ood Munar, who scales above the full power of 10 supernovas, as Ossus in Grand Mystery had the power to endure the strongest power in galactic history. The explosion of 10 suns sears the face of Ossus like a galactic funeral pyre. All 10 stars feed a sudden inferno more devastating than anything the galaxy has ever seen. Ossus was point blank for this, outright was stronger than it and survived it, just had some scars after. And this character tapped into the power of Ossus and couldn't put down Kun, and Kun would go on to one-shot him. After this battle, Kun would absorb knowledge from Ossus, so arguably another power amp. Kun was massively beyond any power of his time, and it took full prep and a full team combining their power to pull up on him and try to take him out. On top of this, they could only bind his spirit to a planet, as they did not have the power to kill him. You can argue he was also considered a bigger threat than Vitiate, as Vitiate did exist during the time. Nearly 4,000 years before the birth of Luke Skywalker, the galaxy faces its greatest threat since the founding of the Republic for Exar Kun. So, that's a pretty big statement right there, implication-wise. But yeah, that wraps up the raw power coverage of living Kun up until he becomes a spirit. What do you guys think of the power of Kun so far? Because if you thought this was insane, wait till you see the Spirit of Exar Kun. We're going to go over the Spirit of Exar Kun power, and then to end the video, we'll double back. Talk about what Kun brought to the table besides power, which is, of course, stuff like skill, intelligence, abilities, all that. So definitely enjoy this. Next in power, we will discuss the Spirit of Exar Kun. This occurs over 4,000 years after Kun had died, and it was stated death could not claim him, as he was too strong and wished to become a god. Jedi Koran Horn actually believed Kun's power as a spirit was literally beyond any power he had comprehended before. This is insane because this literally includes Luke Skywalker, and this is after Dark Empire. He said specifically, if Exar Kun could mask the attack on me in such a way that Master Skywalker could not feel it barely 15 meters away, then we were up against something far more powerful than I'd care to imagine existing. This Luke in particular had a statement of being twice as strong as the version of himself that battled Dark Empire Sidious, who massively surpassed any other form of Darth Sidious. This also means he is bare minimum twice as strong as Darth Vader, given Luke was declared his equal when they battled in Legends. So that's at worst how strong he would be, 2 times Vader at that point. Exar Kun corrupted Kip Duran and was also stated well beyond anything Kip could do corrupted, so his actual power was well beyond even Sith Kip. This same Duran was stated to be instantly Vader-like and probably would be worse pretty soon, as stated in the Jedi Academy. Leia confirmed the spirit of Kun was stronger than even Luke himself. She's actually very good in terms of the ability to sense and read the power of others, given that in Legends, she's mostly like a Force Harmony using character, someone that's in tune with the Force and the Force around her and the Force of others, specifically relatives and her brother, so she definitely knows what she's talking about when it comes to power levels. Finally, Luke compared Exar Kun, the spirit of him, directly to Dark Empire Sidious. Specifically, here's the quote. There in front of him, starkly visible against the blackness of space, he could see the faint images of Emperor Palpatine and Exar Kun, two of the greatest focal points of the dark side he'd ever had to face. They were standing there before him, gazing back at him, and laughing. This covers the raw power of the different forms of Exar Kun. Now on to skill and abilities. Exar had the ability of knowledge absorption and force destruction, and can even destroy astral forms as demonstrated when he destroyed the spirit of the Sith Lord named Freedom Nad. He could use dark side alchemy efficiently and could produce and create energy absorbing orbs pretty easily. Exar Kun also had galactic ranges of telepathic attacks, including searching with psychic dark side tendrils. Of course, he also had other Sith abilities, and wrist gauntlets that could fire energy blasts as well as Sith lightning. Exar Kun casually could use large-scale telekinetic attacks and moves that were made to resemble acts of Darth Nihilus and Sidious. He also one-shot the sensory defenses of an entire population of over 300 million. Kun also perfectly dueled Ulic Qel-Droma, and it was stated that Kun could have easily maintained such a deadly battle for hours. Now, in terms of dueling, at the end I'll give my estimate of how good of a duelist he was, but I definitely think he's very interesting to dissect as a duelist because it's complicated. A planet called Thule that Kun and his people worked out of was corrupted by his dark side power, similar to the way Vitiate did. And while already one of the best duelists of his era, even in his early days, he could also match Ulic in duels. Kun went on to massively amp himself with knowledge worth tens of thousands of years. This took his dueling to the next level, and he completely restructured his style and weapons to fit his new abilities and knowledge. So basically, even when he was one of the best duelists of all time of his era, he got a massive knowledge and skill amp after that, which is ridiculous. This skill amp was seen as massive, and included taking information and skill from beings perhaps like Tulak Horde, who made duelists like Revan and Malak's era look like children with toys. At this point, Kun was seen as essentially unstoppable in one-on-one combat, as his fighting style and weapon were so unique. The reason they were so unique, by the way, is he basically had a shortened saber staff, and he would use both sides, but what he could do was he could alter the length of the blades as well as the power. So he could trick you out, make you think it was a real lightsaber blade, but it's just a flash of light. Then he'll spin and cut you in half. He had a very unorthodox and strange moveset that made him incredibly dangerous because no one had fought quite a unique fighter like him before, because he was stealing skills and lightsaber combat from ancient times as well as more modern lightsaber forms like Naman. So it made him a very dangerous duelist. Kun, while freezing thousands of people, casually folded the Jedi Battlemaster and his former master, Vodosias Bosk. It is also worth noting that this was one-sided on almost all fronts, including skill and power. It's kind of, I've noticed, been implied that this was just, oh, he surprised his master. No, he beat his master's ass. He was strong, and too skilled. And just outright was better than him. It wasn't some tricky shit. He was just really that good as a duelist, and he was really that powerful. Exar Kun's powers, abilities, and weird forbidden techniques in the Force overwhelmed every defensive tactic and power that Luke Skywalker possessed. And it's reasonable to believe that these like dark side tendrils, these abilities, these methods, he would have used in combat, because this is just stuff he had learned prior to getting locked away for 4,000 years. So he already knew this shit. So you could argue this like versatility in this bag of tricks, living Exar Kun could have demonstrated as well in combat. So in the end, in terms of dueling, Exar Kun's one of the most unique duelists we've ever seen, and I do believe with his dueling abilities and his unorthodox approach, he would catch most duelists slipping. A couple of them weirdly probably could counter him, like Tulak Ward would probably understand the methodology he was employing, and he would be fine. But other characters that are elite duelists I could see them falling to Kun in a straight up martial battle, which is very impressive. And I do think I'm gonna do a duelist tier list soon for Legends, so stay tuned for that. But he's gonna be high up there for me for sure. As well as his raw power, I don't believe is up much for debate. As well as a lot of his rituals and practices became permanent power amps for him, and he got a lot of permanent power jumps. So I think a lot of people are a little misleading and kind of say, oh, he needs prep time to be strong. No, he already prepped and did the rituals to be strong. So he is that strong. So in the end, Exar Kun is one of the strongest Sith Lord we ever seen, one of the most unique, and one of the most unstoppable combatants in Star Wars history. Anyways, let me know what you guys think of him. If you enjoyed this video, let me know by dropping the like and comment down below. I'd love to talk to you, as well as join my Discord. We talk about Star Wars there. I'd like to get it more active with the Star Wars talk, so definitely do that. But anyways, also check out my main channel, Jobbers and Goons. Thank you for watching. It's been The Coffee Shop, and I'll see y'all later. Peace.